my opinion, is RSG. Yeah, because I have seen how they play on the Paquito, so I think that it might be a mistake to Explorer giving them such a lead with the Jawhead together with the Paquito. But we will see how it actually works, and we're going to go into the game soon enough. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be the first game, RSG versus Explorer. Any thoughts, Abstract?
I don't exactly have a bias here, but if I truly need to put out a bias, the only reason why I say that I like this team lineup is only because of the fact that we are looking at we are looking at the Jawhead. Jawhead being slipped has got to be one of the most important game changers. Right?
Yeah.
Pace the game a bit too well.
Yeah, right now we can see Jason playing on the Jawhead, just wants to go in to actually take the buff of Explorer in terms of the raid, but I think that 3 members itself has deterred Jason from doing so, and he's going to be rotating a bit into the top lanes, and we will see in the bottom lane itself is going to be right playing on to the side of what's the hero called again?
What were we talking about? Esmeralda, Bane.
Yes, it's going to be on the Bane. I just have a lapse of moment. And it's going to be Dablo playing on the Paquito. And look at the damage coming in from Dablo. It's just practically decimating itself. And no, it's going to be the game pause once again.
I mean, at this point of time, Riyab should be really careful, right? Extremely careful with what's coming up next. Because for the, as a matter of fact, the 4 bars coming in for Paquito, like I think they call it the fighting stance, was it some kind? I forgot what was the name of it.
Yeah, but once he has
chap stance.
Yeah, once he has the 4 stacks itself, then he'll be able to do the knockout.
Yep. So anything that is possible, but unfortunately he doesn't have strike. He doesn't have the knockout punch just yet. So the only thing that he can work with is, I think, jab as well as the heavy left punch. But either every now and then he is able to consecutively push out punches. And I think that is going to be one of the most important things that Paquito is able to deal onto Bane.
Yeah.
That means that he should be able to go on a 2-skill combination, like immediately just burst Bane down with what little HP that Bane has.
Yes, and right now we are back into the game. We know that Dablo, he has the 4 stacks, so he can be able to do the combo itself. But ouch, like you said, it is going to be really painful game building onto the magic. Paquito going in, but Jamie coming in from the back line is going to be a first blood onto Dablo. Like I said, the burst. You pick on Dablo, a player that can play really well on Dablo, and that's what you're going to get.
I honestly thought that the sustainability that Riyab is able to bring onto the board will be able to help him survive and sustain in the bottom lane. But it does appear that the amount of damage that Diablo is able to bring out is a little bit too much for them to handle. And in the meantime, Jason just immediately flickered in, goes for the force ejector right on top of Pebbles, and there is just no way that Pebbles is able to get himself away from
right
that.
Now in the top lane itself, it seems like they want to gank onto Vento playing on the Esmeralda, but I think that they're going to just back off for a while as Forza choose to farm on the top lane, which is where the turtle is going to get spawned.
So we are looking at RSG with a very proactive way of playing, right? They have been rotating themselves, a single member to go down to the bottom lane to help out, and then subsequently up to the top lane. They are segregating, or rather they are splitting their forces pretty equally to ensure that they are winning in every single lanes. And look at how proactive that they are. They're just popping out skills just to zone Explorer out, just so that they can kill the turtle a lot faster, then get back into their lane with the minimal amount of downtime.
Indeed, indeed. And right now, in terms of the goal itself, we have RSG leading around 1.1k goalie, and there goes Dablo playing on the Paquito again. But this time round, I think Explorer learned their lesson. Backup is going to come. 3 members of Explorer actually choose to gank down in the bottom lane just to punish Dablo.
Seem like Explorer is putting that big of a fight. Alas, they did manage to have a single kill to their name, thanks to Riyab getting a kill down onto Diablo though. So it's kind of like a 1-for-1 trade down the bottom lane. It's very tough for us to even tell who is going to be the ultimate victor down at the bottom, or perhaps even at for the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but if you notice, they actually swap lane. Yeah, they actually swap the lane, and Dablo going onto the top lane itself. And this time around, Jason will be able to get another kill onto Bento.
So it's understandable because we do have Yutong with slightly better mobility, and of course when it comes to sustainability factor, he does stand a chance a little bit better against Riyab that is playing as the Bane. But one thing that he can't deal is the fact that there are so many people down at the bottom. They just want to fully capitalize the time down at the bottom and try to bring the first tier turret down. And that is exactly what Explorer did. Unfortunately for the side of RSG, they are unable to bring the first tier turret down maybe until now. Take a look at that. Michael Pudge immediately slams Bento up. And that glove that Diablo is holding on to is not gonna give Bento any time to breathe.
Indeed, indeed, and right now itself, the turtle is going to respawn in the next 9 seconds itself, and it looks like for the side of Explorer, they are down one lane on the top lane itself, and I think that for the side of Explorer, the next contest onto the turtle, they definitely have to do so.
And what can I say? Jason and Diablo, they are very proactive indeed. They are trying to get themselves with a little bit of a zone denial up to the 50 line. They have information and a little bit of kind of map control. They see where Jamie is, but unfortunately, they can't hold themselves in the brush long enough. Jason tries to get himself closer over the Bento in efforts to try to get the Force Ejector down, but unfortunately, Sana and Forza is just a little bit too far away for them to go for a proper follow-up.
Yeah, Mountain Shocker is going to come out to spot the members of the RSG as the contest onto the turtle begins. Jamie, he goes in with the Townsend Bouncer, locks onto Diablo, but at what cost though? Because it is going to be a free turtle onto the side of Explorer. Jason just trying to run away, but it looks like the fight is going to, I think, Explorer, who managed to get onto the turtle, but they lost Monchichi and Pebble in the process.
Kind of, like I said, it's kind of like a at what cost kind of thing. A single Diablo for a Pebble and Monchichi, I would say that that is not a good trade for Explorer at all. Jason trying to go all out and aggressive right behind the first tier turret, trying to get the toss down onto Jamie, but unfortunately not the right target prioritization, or perhaps not, basically just not the right person that you will want to immediately melt down onto. But the main thing is that they're gonna have to buy time and try to do whatever that they can. Diablo jumps himself right into the brush, and thus it is going to be quite a bait for the side of Forza, completely knocked up against the wall as Jamie goes for the Hurricane Dash, but surprisingly it does seem like Forza is not dead just yet until now. Both Jason and Forza are just gonna go straight down. We are gonna be looking at a falling Starmoon coming from the side. Oh, not falling Starmoon actually. It doesn't quite seem that Bento is able to get the nail down onto RSG. And with that all said and done, it does seem like RSG's side, we do have a little bit of a baiting action coming in from the side of RSG. Diablo, he jumped into the brush and Forza tried to cover for him. In the end, Diablo got out of all that situation and put Forza in a really bad spot. That was a little bit of a miscommunication from the side of RSG.
Yep, indeed, and we can see on the replay itself what happened was Jamie going in with the arcade, managed to knock on to Forza, but Forza in return, he managed to get onto Jamie before getting paid the price and being down, and Bento, you can see his position just going for the potato.
And here we go, line 4 goes into Black Dragon form. It's going to be a 2 versus 4. They managed to split the battle into 2 with Pebble behind their own lines while the rest of the Explorer just goes straight in front. But unfortunately, the main bulk of the body from RSG has decided to retreat while Diablo is left alone to deal with the 3 members from Explorer. RSG is literally having a little bit of a communication breakdown, or maybe just a little bit of priority mistakes here and there. And this is kind of what I was talking about, right? RSG a little bit sloppy at the front start of the game. And Explorer did manage to kind of bring up the game a little bit more towards themselves, but I think it is not enough. Explorer needs to do a bit more than just fully capitalizing on RSG's mistakes.
Yeah, but I think that RSG, kudos to them, managed to win back the game as they caught on to the jungle, and in fact for Forza itself, he managed to go to the opponent's jungle and take his blue.
It is currently 8 minutes into the game, 8-8. We're looking at only about 1,000 goal lead that RSG has gotten for themselves. But that is just the surface, right? Because RSG, they're doing a pretty decent job in terms of trying to gain control of the 50 line. And when I say 50 line, it is always that river. So when you hear me say 50 line, that is what I mean. But for RSG, they try to bring the entire 50 line for themselves. But Explorer, they're pretty proactive in their own regards, right? So they are always face checking into brushes by the help of Jamie, ensuring that he used the 1,000-pounder and just jumping right in as a form of initiation and ready to adapt to whatever that happens. So this is not this is definitely not a one-sided game at all.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I got to say that Explorer is really putting up a fight, and right now it seems that they catch up to the side of Ripe, and he's going to go down. Forza, a bit of overextension, will get paid the price, and he goes down as well. I mean, that is not a member there that you want to go down, but in exchange they got the Bane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bane for a Roger, but on the flip side, it does seem like we are gonna be looking at Diablo that manages to get himself the turret at the bottom lane. So, good amount of time spent as well as a really good amount of distraction from the side of the RSG. But one thing that I'm looking at is something that I don't think that a lot of people was expecting, is the fact that RSG, it was a 2v4, and RSG only they did manage to get one kill onto the Bane, but they have only lost Forza himself, and that was a 2v4. So what would happen if it's actually a 4v4 or perhaps even a 5v5?
You can see what happened right here. Jamie, he actually paused on to Diablo. He wants to get onto Diablo, but he actually wasted his one. And right now, LY4 coming into the Black Dragon a bit too early for me, just because all the members of Explorer actually knows and actually backs off. So I think that the next Lord itself right now in the Lord pit, LY4 will not have his ultimate in the next team fight.
Yeah, so that is going to be pretty crucial for the side of RSG. No front runner when it comes to Life 4, because Life 4 really is just in front of the team, in front of his own team, soaking up as much damage as possible, while Jason uses the time to go behind the enemy's lines and try to disrupt them as much as he wants. But I'm not sure how that's going to work out for this time. They're just buying time, as you can tell.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Life 4 gets his Black Dragon form back.
Yeah, but while buying time, not to forget that the Forza onto the Roger is onto the bottom lane itself, just trying to get as much goal as possible, while Jason, he's just going to use the Jawhead to annoy the members on the side of Explorer.
Jason is doing a pretty good job, right? He's just literally throwing Explorer members. He's trying to find the right time and just kind of keep them on their toes, like constantly on their toes. Now that RSG have all of the ultimates available, they would very likely be looking for a time to be able to put down some pressure and perhaps even some, well, waiting for the right time to go in. And it does seem like Bento immediately face checks into the brush, whereby Jason just pushes Bento into the side of the enemy lines. But unfortunately, it does seem like Bento, he did manage to survive for a little while until he finally got shut down. Sana is going down as well, but unfortunately for Jamie, he's in the middle of all enemy action in front of Forza, as well as the two other core members, while all the way up top, Diablo going 1-on-1 against Riyab, and we know how that turned out. RSG won that by a landslide, with Pebbles being the last member remaining for his team. Nothing that he can do. The only thing that he can do is try to defend the middle lane as much as possible, while RSG continues to just kind of, well, stomp their way through.
Yep, overall a good fight for RSG, as they only lose Sana in the fight itself, and they managed to pick off to 4 members on the side of Explorer, and they even took off the Lord. So, I mean, the next team fight itself, kudos. So Explorer, they still have the Chang'e to defend the lane, but I don't think that Jason playing on that Jawhead is going to, you know, let this game be let the game drag essentially, because he's going to play aggressive onto the Jawhead.
Yeah, I mean, looking at 6,000 goal leader RGSG has, they gotta do something real quickly over here, right? Just kind of jump right in, and just clear out the lanes. And it does seem like the lanes is being cleared up pretty nicely, with Paquito pushing down the bottom lane, while the top lane is pretty much the Nature's Flow. And of course, the Lord down in the middle lane, does seem like the meteor shower is just going to be popped by Pebble. That pretty much means that this is free real estate for Life 4. LY4 can just jump right in with the Black Dragon form anytime he wants, and that is right about now. No one's going to be dealing a bulk of damage over to him. But unfortunately, it is all just a bait, and even baiting me as well. Goes in, U-turns right out, because, well,
They have no creeps, essentially.
no creeps, and RSG don't really have a lot of means to enter into the opponent's base.
Yeah, but if you look at Forza, he is so rich in terms of goal. I think he's at a 10k goal lead, and opposed to Monchichi playing onto the Ishin Jin, I think he's only at 6k goal lead itself. So in terms of teamfight, RSG can go for the teamfight, but they have to be careful of the archive, which is only the kind of crowd control that will trap the members of RSG.
Jason, once again, trying to hold on to the 50 line, ensuring that Explorer is suffocated and unable to get any farm at all. But it does seem like Jason may be under pursuit by the rest of the members coming from Destroyer. It does seem like he's trying to go for the toss around the bento once again. He flickers himself out of there, ensuring he is in the hearts of his own teams and just basically be as safe as possible, because they can't enter into the next fight with one man down. And Explorer jolly well knows that. RSG is just looking for a single pick. And the one member that they're constantly getting picks on is Bento. And it doesn't make sense because Bento is pretty beefy on his own. So it's going to take some time, it's going to take some coordination, and it's going to take someone's mistake in order to get one pick up.
Yeah, and you look at the build coming in from Forza, he is at full build as opposed to Monchichi only managing to complete the Blade of Despair as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as well as the Jungle Knight. So in terms of farming, you can see Forza farms so much. In fact, he's at 12k gold lead right now.
That is not good at all. This is the point in time where Forza can just go in and wreak havoc as long as RSG goes for a really good initiative. But by no means should they be completely complacent. Well, complacency is not deep. RSG should still find the perfect opportunity to ensure that they are able to win this game like flat out without yielding too much over to Explorer or even give them too much chance.
Yeah, but if you look at the picks coming from Explorer, it's really defensive. So RSG having no kind of solid crowd control tank going in, they can't go in. And Jamie gets spotted out but immediately pops off. And I think that Jason playing on the Jawhead just really being annoying on the side for Explorer.
It's a little bit too annoying. Like, Explorer, they don't know what to do. They really do not know what to do. They want to bring him down, and Jason is just out there waiting for the perfect time. But here we go, the Hurricane Dance on top of Jason. That is going to be the pickoff. That is going to be probably the mistake that we want to see coming from the side of RSG, and also the side that Explorer wants to see. One man down. Explorer can now buy a little bit more time for themselves to farm up off of all the other lanes, and while the Lord is out, that is going to put down a little bit of pressure on the side of Explorer. Is it a good pressure or is it a bad pressure? Because Jason will only be out in 10 seconds, and only if they are able to snipe down this Lord in time, then they should go for it.
Yeah, but I got to admit that was really a bad timing for Jason to have died there, because that allowed Explorer to be able to get the Lord. And it looks like right now onto the side, kudos to Dablo, managed to catch onto the core members as it's a killing spree onto RSG. They're chasing Forza. He wants to get onto Bento. Will he be managed to do so? No, he doesn't. But who got the Lord?
That is going to be Explorer. Explorer did manage to get themselves the Lord in this very case, and the goal lead is only up by 8,000. And Explorer, they are ready. They just want to buy a little bit more time, allow the Lord to trample over the second tier turret in the middle lane. But the thing is, Forza completely decked out. The damage is way out of their control. They can't even allow the Lord to march through the 50 line, and Explorer couldn't even lead and guide the Lord because they know once they get out of that turret, they are doomed. The only thing they can do now is just once again do the same thing, buy time, ensure that they don't give any free kills to RSG, and Explorer will then take that time to farm up the creep waves in order to tally up their scores.
Yeah, but I think that if the next fight Jason doesn't get caught again, I do think that RSG will be able to close this game. But not to forget that Monchichi is actually building up on his goal. In fact, he has a bit of a goal deficit just now, but as we can see, it's going to be a game pause.
That's unfortunate. 17 minutes and 37 seconds in, and Explorer versus RSG is looking to be pretty promising.
I got to say that I was a bit disappointed because I thought that RSG having this draft, having Paquito and Jawhead will be able to close the game earlier. But it seems like Explorer, good kudos to them, managed to delay the game unexpectedly.
Yeah, it's really gotta go to Explorer, right? They bought time, they managed to completely single out the Jawhead. Jason was being a little bit too overconfident.
Yeah.
Thinking that, I can get away from all of this, and just doing whatever they can, just right in front of their faces. Just like kind of having a really nice stare down, like, can you kill me? Only for him to not realize, perhaps, that he's close to a wall.
Yeah, I mean, he got petrified by the Akai and then actually got a 5-man.
Hurricane spin.
Yeah, so I think that if Jason hadn't died in that pivotal moment where they are going to get the Lord, then RSG could have closed the game. But, all is not lost because there's a chance for Explorer now to come back to the game. Yeah, because they have a hard tank, which is the Akai, and just bear in mind that as the game goes in, Jawhead will tend to fall off in the later parts of the games. As Akai gets his full build, he gets more tanky and tanky.
Yeah. It's not really any more about who initiates first. It's really more about who can soak in more damage, because at one point of time, Jawhead's ability to kind of just toss someone over becomes completely substantial, and you don't really need to care about, oh, Jawhead can toss me. In fact, it could possibly be a better thing to do, especially as an Akai. Allow the Jawhead to toss you as an Akai into the enemy's hut and then just reverse sweep.
Reverse, right? Use the Hurricane dance to actually lock onto Jawhead.
That's why they are always aiming on the Esmeralda instead.
Yeah, I think the Esmeralda always get tossed by Jason, but I don't think that that's the pick he wants to go for. I would prefer for him to actually go and to look for Monchichi, but it's tough, like we say, it's not easy, to go in. And we are going to go back into the game itself as a 17-minute game. Like I said, a little bit unexpected for me to see RSG having to have a 17 minutes game against Explorer, but all is not lost because in terms of the goalie, as we go into the later part of the game, the goal doesn't really matter because most of the players actually will have their full build soon.
Full build Explorer. I'm really trying to think about how it's gonna look like if they are all in an all-out battle. But in the meantime, Jason did manage to get a stun, a throwdown to Mochichi. But unfortunately, it does seem like their cover-up, their follow-up is just a little bit too late. Every single one of the members coming from Explorer has managed to bring themselves back into the base, and the middle lane inhibitor turret is only down and close to a quarter of her health. RSGSG, coming from the side of Jason, they did well. He did well. He managed to single out Monchichi and put him right in front of, his own team's grasp. But unfortunately, not enough burst, and of course, not enough stuns.
Absolutely. It seems like RSG is unable to crack open the inhibitor turret of Explorer as they are going to back away from now with the next Lord being spawned at 80 seconds. So both teams itself, they have to play this one well because if any members on both sides of the team actually goes down, then I think that they'll be able to close this game.
I think that, RSG is probably scared, right? They're pretty scared that they will pull this game a little bit too long. And this Lord is very likely going to be the game factor.
Yeah, because you look at the composition of Explorer, they have the Bane and the Chang'e to be able to clear the creep waves or potentially the Lord. So they have two kind of heroes that's able to defend the lane, and that's probably the reason why RSG is unable to crack open any of the lanes because these two heroes will be able to clear the creep fast. But it seems like another fight going in as Jason this time round will be managed to go flicker in to catch on to Right playing on the Bane.
Why is he there? That is the one thing that's most puzzling to me, and that is probably one of the only reasons that Explorer might go down. And this pause may very likely be the reason why Riyadh was outside their own base. It is tormenting, but there is nothing that they can do at this point of time. They are just gonna be stuck with what they have, 4 versus 5 against a turret that is down by 3/4, and they're only left with 1/4 of a health. And from this point onwards, it could be a very steady sweep coming in from RSG.
Absolutely, just because they lose Ribe and the next Lord is going to be spawned, I think, in 20 seconds itself. So RSG definitely have the lead coming in here.
Man, I really thought that Explorer might be able to get this game down, but looking at Riyadh going down, that is a dream crushed. But perhaps Explorer may be able to come back for the next game, or maybe even game number 3. I mean, they have to win game number 2 in order to get themselves to game number 3. But this game number 1, is very likely going to be taken by RSG. I'm kind of calling it right now. That one man down from Explorer is a little bit too much for Explorer to handle.
Yeah, so I mean, like RSG potentially they can go for the Lord, and then they finally might be able to crack open the inhibitor of the Explorer, which is just left with a tit left of turret damage for them to actually crack open.
So I don't know about this. Explorer, I think that they have to round themselves up again and try to understand what can they properly do for the next round. What do they have to crack down, right? Who is the most important player? Why did we not manage to win in fights? What do you think?
Well, I think that it is the fact that they gave the Paquito over to RSG, and they also gave the Jawhead over to Jason. You can see in the game itself, Jason consistently, whenever he has his flicker, he will go into flicker and catch onto one member of Explorer, and that's probably the reason why Explorer is being kind of chased back into their lane is unable to push out. I mean, you know, that's probably one of the reasons why most of the teams out there actually ban out onto the Jawhead.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because with a single flicker, that is your initiating tool.
Yeah.
And then toss someone to the backlines, and then an unstoppable force. That's your escaping tool.
Yeah, you can see whenever Jason actually has his flicker, he will go in.
Super aggressive.
Yeah, super aggressive. He'll go in for that flicker toss and toss any members on the side of Explorer just to eliminate them out from the fight itself. So, I mean, that split second, that's where Arkai has to come in with the Hurricane Dance in order to push the members away. But if you fail to be near your team, that's where you get that single pick off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is basically Jawhead is basically a better Kaja.
It's a better Kaja, it's in meta, and we all know the potential of Jason and how he plays really aggressive. And we're going to go back into the game. Yes, it's going to be back into the game as RSG has majority of the map control against Explorer.
How exactly is Explorer supposed to defend against this? Because LY4 is going to be one of the most initiating factors. He's just still in the Black Dragon form. He's going to transform in front of Monchichi, but unfortunately Monchichi gets himself away. The core, man, the core. RSG SG focus down on the core. They don't care about all the other heroes. They're just bringing the core down as fast as they can because they
Well, but it seems like the last pick itself for RSG is going to be on the Hayabusa. I mean, we haven't seen Hayabusa much in action in this draft. We have seen, I think, Impunity that picked up the Hayabusa, but as an offlane position. So it's going to be the first time that Hayabusa is making a debut in the mid lane itself, Forza playing on the Hayabusa. And effectively, for Explorer, interestingly, the tank itself is going to be Kufra, which we haven't seen much, ever since it's been nerfed quite a bit in the previous patches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that we even get to see Kufra here. But I guess Explorer, they don't really have a lot of other tanks to work with. So Kufra is going to be their go-to. It is still a decent hero. It's just a small little bit of nerf. It doesn't necessarily take him completely out of the equation. But RSG, their lineup is looking pretty sick. I do like what they have here. And unfortunately for Explorer, they have to go far, far away. They had to do an extremely good job in order to win this.
Yeah, absolutely, and it all depends on Pebble playing on the Selena. Will she be able to land the Abyssal Arrows? And it looks like it's going to be Jason playing onto the Farsa, managed to get the Abyssal Arrow landed onto Jason, but I think Jason is going to be fine in the top lane, but he has to be careful because if Selena lands the Abyssal Arrows, like we say, Selena needs to snowball the game for Explorer in the early games.
Definitely A-OK for the side of RSG. Every single one of these route and movements coming from RSG, it does seem like they have been doing the same thing all over again. They kind of know what they want to do, but all in all, it just kind of doesn't work in the direction every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm really glad to see that. I think at least for this game, I think both teams drafted quite decently. Then Explorer giving out any kind of OP picks over to RSG, but will this Granger and the Selena be able to snowball the game early? Because we know that Uranus and Baxia, they will be very tanky as the games go on because of the way they actually build. So my concern is that Explorer, if they didn't manage to snowball the game, will Monchichi playing on the Granger be able to have that damage to chunk down the members of RSG?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game for an Explorer, right?
Unless they manage to snowball the game.
Unless, yeah. I mean, it is more towards the early game matchup, right?
Yeah.
Whoever wins the early game may be able to have a 50-50 chance on the snowballing. But for RSG side, they have a Selena. And
Explorer.
Oh, Explorer has a Selena.
Explorer has the Selena. And
oh! Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but you know why? Because Jason is actually playing onto the Fasa, and he plays.
Right,
He
yeah.
actually plays a really, in my opinion, one of the best Fasas. So I'm looking forward to see how he actually plays this game.
Okay, so it is more about the shift of this game is very likely based on how well Explorer Selena takes the role of the early stage of the game, together with perhaps the Kufra. While for the side of RSG, they would want to put a lot more emphasis onto the Fasa roaming down to the bottom or even to the top, together with who else again? Sylvanas, I suppose.
Yeah, so Sana is going to be playing on the Sylvana itself. Again, you can see that the way they prioritize is giving Jason the time to farm. You know, in fact, you can see Sana is actually helping Jason to get the kind of farm that he needs to kick off as a Fasa.
I just realized that Diablo is playing as he's playing as Vaxia, and that is going to be a mortal enemy for Bento, that is playing as Esmeralda. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they're going to go for this 1v1 action up in the top lane with Diablo consistently winning against Esmeralda every now and then. But it does seem like this Hayabusa does want to have a little bit of a piece of that cake down up in the top lane.
Indeed, indeed. And again, I don't want to be like, you know, kind of like, oh, every hero is my favorite hero, but Hayabusa is one of my favorite heroes, so I'm looking forward to see how Forza plays on that Hayabusa.
Sure. Sure. Didn't I hear you say something about your favorite hero just now or something like that? Well, I can't remember what you said.
Well, after all, Moonton has 100 plus, like almost 100 plus heroes already. You know?
I mean, yeah, that's true. Moonton does have 100 plus heroes in Mobile Legends, but when it comes to Mobile Legends Adventure, we don't really have 100 heroes. In fact, we have Selena that's coming up next. I can't even remember like Selena is number what, but that's the most important thing.
But we know that Abstract plays MLA.
Do I? Of course I do. Well, if you guys want to join in the fun in MLA, make sure that you guys take a look at it in the Play Store, the gallery, or literally anything to just join in the fun, take a look at what MLA is able to give you. And of course, you can use the code MLMLA999 to get yourself some nice rewards within of MLA. So download the game and join in now. Take a look at this, the limited time CD key, MLAXMPL. So 2 CD keys for you guys. Make sure you guys listen carefully and look carefully. All right, MLAXMPL as well as MLMLA999.
Indeed, and this is one of the codes, and also you have another CD code which is MLML999, and it can be used to exchange rewards in MLA. So download the game and log in now.
You're gonna have to do all that. You're gonna have to do all that. But you know what else you guys gotta do? And that is to sit back tight and enjoy some good action. And if you haven't eaten, yet, which is, I mean, now it's 5 o'clock, I don't see why you haven't eaten yet. But you know, there is one food that I always go for whenever I want to go for my tea time, because they make the best cookies and sandwiches.
Oh, I agree, the cookies.
Oh yeah, cookies.
The macadamia chocolate chip.
Macadamia white chip and the cheesecake. It's my favorite. It's hands down my favorite. And of course, when it comes to the sub itself, it's gotta be Subway Melt. Oh, did I say Subway? Yes, I did say Subway. You gotta refresh your taste buds with Subway. And of course, Subway is, of course, one of our supporting partners. So thank you so much to Subway. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you get yourself some nice little sub, whether it's going to be a Subway Melt, it's gonna be BLT or Veggie Delight. Literally, there's just so many subs that you can eat differently for every single day. So you will never get bored of it.
Indeed, indeed. And right now it looks like we are finally going back to the game itself. After a bit of a technical issue, we're going to go back. It's going to be Jason and Sana onto the mid lane itself, where Selena, I think, is going to be rotating onto the bottom side.
Well, Jamie and Pebble, as long as they kind of make their movements very wide and across the map, they definitely have to make their way up to the top because they need to help Bento. Diablo fighting against Bento is not a favorable matchup at all. And RSG is just making full use of whatever that they have. Jamie trying to go for the Tyrant's Revenge on the life ball, but unfortunately did not even land that out. So that is hands down unfortunate. The turtle is now available for the picking, and it does seem like RSG's movement over to the top lane has some very obvious answers and of course very obvious reasoning, and that is because they will be able to get their turtle pretty done easily.
Yep. It's going to be a free lot onto RSG as they manage to pick up onto the top lane for Bento. And right now another fight is going down to the bottom lane itself, and who is going to go down is going to be Diablo playing onto the Bucks here, and Jason just one flame shot almost getting, but it will get paid the price as a really good Kufra jumping in with the Abyssal Arrow stops Jason.
Well, that's definitely not something that RSG was expecting. I was thinking that, hey, perhaps Uranus gonna have to stand in the line of Jason just to make sure that he doesn't get jumped on by the Tyrant's Revenge. But unfortunately, doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. But what is going to be the case is that RSG managed to connect all of the shots onto Jamie as well as Monchichi. Yet another 2-man taken down, and up top, Bento fighting against Diablo. It does seem Bento definitely knows his advantages and disadvantages and understand how far can he stretch a team fight, or how far can he stretch a 1v1
Yeah,
fight.
you look at Jason almost getting onto Pebble, but Jamie jumping in really well, managed to pick off onto Jason, and right now it's going to be a team fight at the bottom lane as RI4 pops his ultimate, will be able to escape as both teams disengage.
Back down to the bottom lane, Jason popping right up, feathered airstrike, almost getting a lot of kills and hits down onto Jamie. But one thing's for sure is that they managed to gain control of the bottom lane. As long as they are able to push this Harif away, they should be able to get a pretty free and easy turret. But, well, the protected layer is still up on top. We do have the Hisatsu Shadow kill coming in from the side of Forza, immediately bringing down this Esmeralda. It became a 1-for-1 trade. Unfortunately for Baxia, he himself is going to go down too. And we're just going to be looking at a total of 3-4 in terms of matchup. Really nice. Arrow coming from Southern Explorer, but no follow-ups.
Yeah, no follow-ups. I think that Diablo, he actually tanked too much of the tower onto the top lane and will get paid the price. And right now, the turtle being spawned in the top lane itself with the members of RSG just camping down, wanting to take... I think, in fact, Forza, he is starting on the turtle already.
Just slowly nicking and picking down onto RSG's lineup, but Explorer, they can't get themselves any closer. It is tough for them to even break through the barriers. That is a tough shell, a tough wall that RSG has built up. It is going to be a phase check coming from Jamie onto Sana, but nothing is going to be of substance, because what Explorer just want to do is just take control of the turtle, but I don't think that they will be able to hold this out for long enough. Diablo is looking for someone to just get his nice little, well, tire, but it doesn't seem like things are going to get well enough. The Abyssal Arrow is not going to land. We do have the Phantom Airstrike coming right in from Jason, but unfortunately going to get stunned down. Bento trying to get himself a little bit closer and closer over to the side of Jason, but all hope is lost, as Forza has managed to claim himself the double kill on top of the heads of Explorer. And just like that, with a total of about 1,000 gold lead, Forza is definitely going to be the one that is holding onto that 1,000 gold.
Indeed, and in fact, you look at the goal itself, RSG leading by kills, leading by goal itself, and in the top lane, LY4 is just going to be free, split pushing Kufra, catching on to Forza with the Abyssal Arrows, and with... Will he be able to escape? Yes, he will, thanks to Jason and his team backup coming in so fast, and it's going to be a double kill onto the side of Jason.
Wait, what items does he have? Immediately after the Hisatsu Shadow kill, it just got like half of his health back. And I would have assumed that at this point of time, the only thing that he has is probably like a Blade of Despair, or maybe like a half-made Blade of Despair.
Well, we can go into...
I think it's a Bloodlust Axe. The amount of health that he brought back up.
Or maybe he can go for an endless
battle.
Yeah, let's see Forza's build. No, he only has the jungle knife completed.
What?
Yeah, but...
Perhaps the machete is the only thing that he has, and yet a single Hisatsu Shadow kill can get himself all the way back up to 50% HP.
Yeah, but he just built on the Blade of Apoptosis.
Oh, okay. So more piercing coming from the side of Forza. So he should be able to deal a decent amount of damage onto anyone who tries to be alone. And I think that one of the core members that Forza will want to aim onto is very likely going to be that Paris, right? Maybe. I don't know. But he's just pushing all the way down in the middle lane, managing to get a decent amount of objectives, and I really like whatever they're doing there. Sana! Oh! Getting away with just a sliver of health. I see that he starts a shadow kill coming from the side of Forza. Here we go, we've got a better airstrike just going to be activated coming from the side of Jason. Immediately pushing the rest of the members coming from Explorer away from the main bulk body that RSG have. And that is a really good insurance that RSG has put up, ensuring that none of the members goes down, and in fact, continue with the goal lead that they have.
Indeed, indeed. And it seems like for the side of Explorer, no one is able to reach onto Jason. I think that Bento on the Esmeralda, he actually went in when Jason actually pops onto the Feather airstrike. But kudos to RSG and the team Sana and his team backing him up, managed to save Jason out of the fight.
Well, 4-8. We're looking at 8 minutes. We're looking at a game into 8 minutes. Going to be 1 kill per minute. Jamie completely nicked down and of course melted into dust by Forza. Just way too much damage coming in from all over the board, and Explorer doesn't even know how they can even claim themselves or even challenge against this turtle. The game is slow, it's exponentially going to the side of RSG. The longer this game goes, RSG is going to get a lot more objectives and they are going to be getting a lot more kills. Explorer, unfortunately, is a little bit more off their form in this very specific game.
Yeah, but it seems like they did not manage to catch on to the side of RSG with Forza or either Jason. So, you know, there's no snowballing that we have expected Explorer, just because, like we mentioned, on the side of Selena, has to snowball the game for the team in the early games, but failed to do so.
Well, Explorer doesn't even have a lot of territorial advantage to begin with. RSG, they're holding down onto the 59 and doing whatever that they can to try to suffocate Explorer with as much gold as possible. Because you can pretty much tell Explorer is not doing as well as RSG, right? In the total item lineup, the only thing that William has is items, while Monchichi is working up on just a single item, as well as close to almost a nick.
Yeah, kudos to Jamie just popping that in, but there's no backup from the team and he managed to escape. But Baxia will be able to get Harith instead. I mean, Jamie he actually went in with the Tyrant's, you know, revenge to get actually knock out onto the members of RSG, but there was no follow-up from Explorer to follow up on his ultimate.
The top turret is definitely gonna be gone, right? Without a question, I think that Explorer will lose out that turret at the top lane. Diablo is just holding down whatever that he can. He's just putting up so much emphasis onto the opponent's jungle, making sure that they are unable to do anything. And that amount of rotation coming from RSG's Baxia ensures that he can make himself down to the bottom lane and push out whenever he can. And well, in the meantime, farm whatever he can as well. With now the dominant ice being picked up by Diablo, he will be a lot more tankier and is going to be quite a threat to Rhea as well as Monchichi.
Sana spotting out onto Jamie. Jamie, I mean, you definitely don't want to be in that bush itself, because potentially, if you look at Jamie, he doesn't have his items here, so he's not going to be as tanky. They managed to catch out to Sana with, but Sana is just going to be able to escape.
Yeah, well, I guess one thing sad is that the Selena, despite all of the abyssal arrow that he has thrown, all of the traps that he is trying to put out, he still is unable to get himself back into the momentum together with the rest of his team. They're trying their very best to hold RSG out, but unfortunately, they are not able to do anything of that regards. They're just stuck behind, hiding inside brushes, and waiting for like the perfect time for RSG to go down, right? Like, for example, waiting for the Lord to come up, or the turtle to come up, for RSG to be too focused, engrossed into dealing with the objective, then Explorer can jump in.
Yep, absolutely. But if you look at the goal itself, RSG is leading by so much.
Exponentially.
Yeah, exponentially, that I find that Explorer, they do not have the items to be able to deal with RSG. In fact, you see for Kufra, he only managed to get his first item, which is the Athena Shield, to deal with the magic damage coming in from RSG.
I think it was like 3 minutes ago, Explorer only had like 22k, while RSG has farmed out a lot more than them, solely because of the amount of map dominance that they have to ensure that Explorer is completely suffocated out. But speaking of suffocated, it does seem like Diablo is the one completely suffocated and stuck inside. He's unable to get himself out until right about now, with only a sliver of health to work with. We're just going to be taking a look at the rest of the members coming in here from RSG, completely unable to do anything much from Explorer. They are just holding on this fight as much as possible. Bento, with a sliver of health, he goes down with a critical amount, and so will the Lord. He goes down, but the main thing is, the top lane inhibitor turret is now down for RSG to take. The middle lane second tier turret is also down. This is going to be the first part of of Explorer's downfall.
Yep, better airstrike coming in from Jason, managed to zone off members, and it's going to be legendary onto Forza with the Hayabusa. He goes back once more, and he will be managed to take the turret as GG. RSG takes the second win against Explorer.
I don't exactly know if whether game 1 was